but it's just like, hey, you guys want to see like nearing middle age, like unhealthy, like white dudes, like crunch chips and like sip beer and like sit around a table with shitty microphone equipment and like talk about bullshit we don't care about? Hell yeah.
Then this is the podcast for you.
Too much energy.
Too much energon, like this podcast.
Cheetor, what in the ever-loving fuck have you done?
If I wanted to fly, I would have become a bat, not a rat.
It seems my head is purple fire now.
Intelligent conversation.
The louder you yell, the more damage your bullets do.
Ah! Yes. Ah, yes. Yes.
Well,
It's gonna blow.
I've decided that I want to live.
No. Not that. Ah!
good evening, Megastormers! Welcome to episode 133 of Too Much Energon, the podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars. Coming to you live from a mysterious floating mountain somewhere hidden on planet Angle Slam, I am, as always, the Siege, one of your hosts.
I'm your other host, Neo Cal. Hello, Mr. Siege. Welcome back, everybody, to us reviewing the Japanese Beast Wars. It's quite an interesting saga and Too Much Energon story.
My father is Mr. Siege, okay?
Oh, okay.
Call me Snake.
Has anybody tried to call you Topher?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, a girl that I had a fling with in my early 20s used to call me Topher.
How did you feel about that?
I don't mind it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
See, you can't not Chris, not Christ.
Christ almighty. Well, over here, we don't want to, old CG Poo doesn't want to burn in hell for blasphemy and general buggery. Yeehaw.
Skullduggery. What about wrist top?
Wrist top? What?
That's your Transformer name. Wrist top.
Oh, what do I transform into?
R-I-S-T-O-P. Yeah, wrist top. Would that be a crane? Like, how does that? Maybe just a gun someone else holds. Maybe a shield. Maybe a steering wheel. I don't know. What do you feel like that would be?
Wrist top. I feel like that would be a... Fuck, I don't know. It would probably be like some sort of like sex toy. Let's be honest.
What is this? I don't know. Some guy in technology used to beat eggs. An egg beater.
And then I'm all like metamorph and just start like flapping around all phallically.
But like on the ground and like not really doing anything or shooting missiles, just like. And the other Cybertronians just like kind of look at you and they're like, what, is he doing anything? I don't know.
I think old Siege there had a little too much energon, if you know what I'm saying.
Too much, yeah.
Well, speaking of too much, that is a Patreon tier on the Lasercomb Patreon. So gather around, dear listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about the Lasercomb Patreon. It's what keeps the lights on over here at Lasercomb HQ. I made some changes recently. So longtime listeners and patrons may know that a previous Patreon reward was preamble audio or outtakes. Those were little bits of audio, and I was talking to someone I work with about this today, actually. Those were little bits of audio that just began, like, it was always just me, Cal, and like whoever else happened to be on the show at any given time. Kind of just talking about anything.
Yeah,
just
it's going to run the gambit of us like talking about stupid stuff at work to life lessons, mental health, moving, etc. Whatever. Because it's like it was our hangout time.
It was, and this was a thing that I brought up with when I was telling my colleague about this earlier. Was I was saving these recordings even before, long before we launched the Patreon. I wasn't doing anything with them; they were just sitting on my computer. And like we started recording the shows like during lockdown, and it. I think one of the things that was most important to me about them was like during lockdown when you couldn't see your friends. It was very therapeutic, I think.
Oh yeah.
And I mean like I still got to go to like I still went to work like all throughout the pandemic, but like I wasn't hanging out with people. So just having these like 15, 20, 30, 60
Sometimes
minute
an hour.
yeah, 60-minute like just like sessions of just like bullshitting with Cal and whoever else. It was like I said, the word I would use is therapeutic. It was very important. So I always held on to these bits of audio because that's why they were always important to me. And eventually I started releasing them onto the Patreon as we were recording new ones, but there were still like literally like dozens upon dozens of hours of these things that no one's ever heard before. And so what I decided to do with the Patreon, there are now 3 tiers again. There's still the $5 Gary tier. You still get the Super Show. You still get to pick a show for us to review on the Lasercomb podcast. You still get the occasional commentary track.
Oh, so you get the same.
The same, yeah. There's a $10 tier. It's just all of that. I'm going to add something else to the $10 tier. I'm just not sure what yet, but it's there. It's called the Primal.
Ooh.
So we got the Gary and the Primal. And now there's a $20 tier called Too Much, which gets you all of that. And you get a t-shirt of your choosing from our TeePublic store, which I've added some new designs to. So if you want a Lasercomb t-shirt, then go check that out. There'll be a link in the description of this episode. You know, I was looking at my at the overall sales. Sold 19 t-shirts since I launched that store like 3 years ago.
That's, man.
I mean,
anybody listening to this, tell us when you get a shirt.
I mean, like 19 is like it's not a big number, but like
that's like 15 more than I thought.
I know, right? I was like, holy shit, 19, really?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, cool.
Bad.
But another thing in the $20 tier that I've just added is what I have created is I assembled these very well organized zip files of all of these like preamble, like outtake audios, and I've organized them by show. There's the Too Much Energon one, which includes, I think, 85 audio files and is like 55 hours worth of content. It's all organized, like they're labeled for which episode of TME they are.
Damn.
And just all in a neat little package. There's one for alphanumeric, which didn't have nearly as many episodes, but what I did was I threw in the preambles for our War Planets podcast and a couple of other like things.
Oh, nice.
As a little bonus.
As
And
a
then
treat.
there's the Lasercomb podcast outtakes collection, which has one for almost every episode of that show. So there's a lot in there. And as a bonus for that one, I threw in some preambles from me and my former partner's defunct podcast, based on the book podcast. I also just threw in every episode of our news and current events program, Lasercomb Tonight, just because, which is 38 episodes.
Yeah. Oh, so I see what you're saying. So like everything's archived as
archived into these neat, like well organized little, or not little, they're like each like 2.5 gigs zip files. If you subscribe to the $20 tier of Patreon, you get access to all of these. Or, as an option, if you don't want to subscribe to us on Patreon, you can buy these things for a one-time flat fee of $10.
There you go. If you want to comb through hundreds of hours of off-air content to find something to cancel us for, it's only $10. $10. You'll never find a cheaper way than that.
Right. But yeah, I wanted to talk, just wanted to bring that up, not as like a means of, I don't know, I'm not like hawking my wares on air here or anything like that. I got this idea randomly when I couldn't sleep the other night, and I was like,
Best ideas come to us
I was like,
in those moments.
I feel like this is a neat idea, and like it works for. I think it's beneficial for the user experience for the patrons because instead of like having to like scroll through and like pages upon pages of like Patreon content, trying to find just like
That's a good point.
just random like little like preamble posts like all littered all over the place. This, if you want to access them, they're right there. You can just download that zip file and go at it.
Go at it.
And go at it.
Yeah, get a bot or like an AI or something to comb through looking for certain words. Find which out of the hundreds of hours we accidentally say something that's like now an outdated term. And, you know, there you go. Post your cancellation compilation on YouTube for only $9.99 USD.
For
No,
$10.
You for $10. Christopher Siege's OCD can be yours for no, but I get that too because otherwise it's like, oh, like what are they up to, or oh, like they were dealing with like kind of this mental health issue or this personal thing, or how did the move go outside of the show. Then you get more complete behind the scenes rather than following all of the podcasts we've done in chronological order.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, and if you download these zip files onto like a Windows PC, it's still, and you look in like the details section of the Windows like file folder on the right hand side, like you'll see like the dates when all of these were created because I didn't edit them. I haven't changed them at all before putting them in. Right. So it's like, oh, this preamble is from like September of 2020.
So long ago.
So long.
Back before, or was that? I don't know. I was going to say back before people started pretending that like COVID wasn't real, but well, there were always people pretending it wasn't real.
Right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning.
As soon as people were like, hell yeah, 4 weeks paid vacation from work, sweet. As soon as people started getting bored, they're just like, oh, COVID's a conspiracy.
Yeah. COVID's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy to turn us
that episode
all,
of X-Files.
Turn us all into Chinese 5G cell phone towers for
libtards.
Ukraine.
Oh, wow, you pieced that together real well. See, it's all part of the plan.
See, that's what they want you to think. But yeah, so those are the changes I made to the Patreon. Again, the $10 tier is going to have something else added to it.
You only get the shirt if you comb through that 1,000 hours of
you get the
1,000 hours.
You get the you have to be at the $20 tier for 3 months before I'm going to send you a shirt, though, because
that's how they get you.
Because they're not free.
The shirts aren't free.
No.
What?
But anyway, yeah. I feel like the shirt and the outtakes collections actually like add a lot of value to the $20 tier. But I mean,
yeah, that's fair. But I'm kind of supports this the most.
Yeah, and I'll have to get some ideas from you, Cal, for something to add to the $10 tier to make it a little bit sweeter than the $5 tier.
A little bit sweeter. You can come to Too Much Energon Con and get your picture for free with us.
I actually do, and I've mentioned this before. I do really think we should like do a panel at like a local, like a small, like local con in Victoria.
Is Tsukino-con in February? Well, that's anime. Well, technically, we've covered anime.
We're
We're covering anime.
we're covering
right
anime
now.
right now.
That's true. We could be like, gather round as we have a panel. And oh, what's that? It's money to run a panel? Excuse me, princess. We'll be out in the parking lot outside of my car.
No, I know it costs money to run a panel, and I'm prepared for that.
Wait,
for
it
that.
does?
No, it does. Yeah, usually you have to
Gee.
you have to pay to like get a table and like do a panel.
We'll
But,
be in the parking lot at a table with a big sign that says, Megatron did nothing wrong. Change my mind.
Yeah, and it's like a picture of Beast Machine's Megatron.
It's that meme with like that fucking Crowder guy holding the mug, but instead it's just like a like fucking like Beast Wars Megatron's like face photoshopped on.
Very badly. Like the level of
Like our
Photoshop.
Discord.
Yeah, with the stock image of the guy's arms crossed with like a horribly bad like CG like Photoshop of a Megatron
The lighting is
head.
different. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad
God.
that that's what our Discord icon is now.
I made that a t-shirt too on the T Public store.
A fucking great t-shirt. That's kind of the, you know what? I want that shirt. I didn't know you made that a shirt.
Oh, well, Christmas is coming, my friend.
There we go.
But yeah, no, if like I'm serious about wanting to do a panel on podcasting because I feel like, I mean, listeners, I went to Victoria last weekend and me and like Cal went for lunch, and half of the conversation was just us talking about like what makes podcasting work.
Yeah. We
Like-
subjected our partners to the joys of how cool we are. So you too, one day, may be able to come to a panel where we talk about no, it was like how much we've learned and like how it's helped us communicate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's good fodder for a panel. Honestly,
I think it is. Yeah.
So if you're,
Especially if it's like hey, amateur podcasting, like how to. So people are like, hey, how do you like do?
yeah, we could take questions too. It could be like a Q&A thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Because like the most intimidating thing is like just fucking like committing to it.
Right.
Like what was it? If you've listened to us like on and off, Christopher has said that like what is it?
The average typical indie podcast lasts an average of 3 episodes.
Like 3. Because like they start it and maybe they've even got a good theme. Right? Like a good intro, like they're all gung ho, but like it just doesn't go. Yeah.
You don't end
I've
up with
got, like,
500 listeners after like 3 weeks. It's like, well, what's the point?
Yeah, that exactly. It'd be interesting to talk about that kind of stuff. Like go into it knowing that you're going to be excited to talk about it, not going into it to like cultivate like an audience and a community.
Yeah.
You have to go into it being like, we're going to do like at least 100 episodes of this, and it doesn't matter if anyone else listens. But it's cool if they do.
But it's cool if they do. And people do listen to this show, which is great.
I know. Apparently people even buy the shirts.
Speaking of which, but yeah, real quick. Yeah, if you're down, I'll put out I'll maybe like send some emails to like some local cons and just to get some info.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I'll think about how to make the other tiers juicy.
And yeah, so speaking of cons, I want to give a shout out to our man Code Killer Confusor, longtime listener and Patreon subscriber. He was at TFCon recently and met up with Big Time Gary himself,
I know.
and mentioned the podcast to him.
Yeah, I'm curious what he said.
So am I. He hasn't got back to me about that yet, but I'm really curious to hear what Mr. Chalk had to say.
Or yeah, what Cone Killer Confuser. He's like, hey, yeah, I heard you on like this or whatever. It gives us clout.
No, it
If-
totally does.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah.
Well,
we
not
had-
only that, but like it's two things intersecting. It's Cone Killer Confusor, like talking to Gary, but like we've also interviewed Gary Chalk, so it's kind of like it feels more like, I hate it when like influencers use this term, but it actually does feel like community, right? Like it's people
Totally.
interacting with each other and going to cons, and like you've had like what was it? You've had figures like sent to you, and
Yeah, I've had all kinds of stuff sent to me in the mail. by
things
listeners.
signed
Yeah.
sent to you. Yeah. We don't even have a wrestling podcast, and you get wrestling stuff sent to you.
I know,
We
right?
kind of do have a wrestling podcast. I feel like one like 15% of the downtime talk or the references we make, or like 30% of the Discord chat is like WWE and AEW. And
I would actually love to start a wrestling podcast. It's just there's so many of them.
I didn't know that until I was like, and I did some Googling, and like even the Funhouse like podcast, right? Like I'd been listening to them when they were like Dude Soup and etc. I didn't know this, but like James from Funhouse has like a wrestling like podcast too, and I'm like, damn, there's a lot of wrestling podcasts, huh?
Yeah,
I'm not experienced enough to. It's not like something I can like watch as we go and like do it. I couldn't be an authority on that.
That's fair. Plus, we would have to. I don't know. We would have if we were going to do a wrestling podcast. There would have to be something like it would have to be a niche. It's like it would have to be. It would have to be like a podcast where we watch every WCW pay-per-view in order or something like that. Like it would have to be something
And do
very
live
specific.
commentary as if right, something funny. Like that Aussie Man reviews
Yeah.
where he's got like just little videos where he's like commenting on like something happening. It'd have to be like that, or it'd have to be niche, or it'd have to be like us going to like wrestling boot camp
Right.
where they like teach you like how to do the stunts and like make your costume and how to like present. Have you heard of those? It kind of sounds fun, right?
Well, like wrestling schools, yeah, there's lots of them. The Hart family has one in Calgary.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Lance Storm has a pretty noteworthy wrestling school. Gangrel, remember Gangrel? He has a
Yeah?
really successful like wrestling school.
What the fuck?
A lot of these old guys from like the Attitude Era and whatnot now have their own like schools and are just trainers.
What was that like Coven? What was like, it was like Gangrel, Viscera,
The Brood.
The Brood. Fuck.
It was like Gangrel, Edge, and Christian were the Brood.
Yeah.
Edge,
Wasn't
by
there
the-
like Visceral?
Viscera was part of the Ministry of Darkness with the Undertaker and the
That's what I'm
Acolytes.
thinking of. Right. And they had the white eyes and yeah. The Brood. They were the vampires. They weren't undead. They were vampires.
You know what's funny is, and I heard Gangrel talk about this on a podcast, Edge and Christian's former podcast, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Which I really missed their podcast. Their podcast was great. They interviewed Gangrel on one episode, and he was talking about how WWF. He didn't realize that the name Gangrel was owned by the makers of World of Darkness.
World of Darkness, Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah.
That's a
He
clan.
didn't know that at the time. He just saw the name and thought it would be a cool, and it saw that it was associated with vampires. So he was like, "Oh, that'd be a cool name for like a vampire. This vampire character I'm creating." They got sued.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
They got sued, and so for the longest, they got the rights to use the name. So like even if you like look at like the old CDs, like WWF the music, anything that had Gangrel in it, it would say like Gangrel is a registered trademark of White Wolf Incorporated.
It's fucking hilarious.
It gets
Okay.
better. It gets better though.
This is a tabletop like dice RPG, by the way.
Yeah.
Anybody wondering?
It gets better though. Gangrel eventually countersued and somehow won the rights. So the people who own the World of Darkness IP now. I think it's Hasbro, isn't it? Or is it still White Wolf?
Onyx Path.
Okay. Anyway, they pay him licensing rights for the name Gangrel. Now.
So they can still use it, but they have to pay licensing rights.
Yes. To the wrestler Gangrel.
I have to tell so many. I didn't know this. Yeah. There's so many like people in like the ARP. I can't wait to tell my partner. That's fucking hilarious.
He got himself a really good lawyer, and his lawyer found like some like loophole and used that as like leverage to actually like claw the copyright to the name of Gangrel away from its original owners. So now instead of him paying them licensing fees, they pay him licensing fees.
Goddamn right.
I was like,
that is such a weird niche crossover, and I can't believe we didn't talk about this before.
Well, it's good that we're talking about this, because I have very little to say about this episode of Beast Wars 2nd.
You were distracted watching it for a different reason. Some stuff happens. Some stuff happens, folks. It's different than the other episodes, but I mean, you can summarize it up. We're still going to talk about it. I've got the hair for certain wrestling, you know? The hair. Or do I? I don't know. It would get like caught and tangled a lot, I feel.
No, what's his name?
Put like a
Seth Rollins.
Through it.
Wrestler Seth Rollins has hair similar to yours.
Seth Rollins.
Good wrestler, but I don't know. I got kind of sick of him. Because his matches are extremely formulaic. Like, he's a really good in-ring performer, but like, he just does the same things in every single match.
Oh, this guy's really familiar looking. Wait, somebody sent me like an interview with him talking.
Oh.
Was it you like a while back? No,
so.
That was someone else.
I sent you CM
Right,
Punk's
he was
now.
part of that was it. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, CM Punk stuff.
The CM
Oh,
Punk,
this guy was the part of those black shirt glove
Shield
gang. The Shield, yeah.
I remember I stopped watching WWE in like 2006 or so because I didn't have cable anymore, and then I kind of just like fell off of it.
Yeah.
But I watched it. I decided to order WrestleMania 30 on pay-per-view, and I think that was 2014 because I'm like, well, it's the 30th WrestleMania, right? Like I feel like I gotta check it out. And I'm like, I didn't recognize half the wrestlers on the show, but then I saw the Shield like come in like in their like fucking riot gear like through the crowd and whatnot. And I'm like, these guys are badass.
Right?
Oh god, where was I even going with any of that?
So
Well,
Galvatron and Megastorm go through the crowd wearing their riot gear, and Bighorn's in the middle of the ring going, here!
bam, 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 bam,
And the camera turns around, and all the Cybertronians are like, oh my god, coming through the crowd, look out.
And then all of a sudden you hear the lights go out and like green spotlights come on, and you hear, are you ready? Triple H and Shawn Michaels come out like doing the chop.
Wow. We're crossing the streams of the timelines, folks.
Then all of a sudden, like the camera like swings up into the rafters, and there's just Sting standing there with a baseball bat.
Fucking legend.
Legend.
Not descending yet, just
yeah, he used to
looking.
do that.
Yeah.
Like when the NWO when the NWO were like beating someone down in the ring or something like that, like all of a sudden like the lights would go out, and then like a spotlight would shine up, and like the camera would swing into the rafters, and Sting would just be standing there looming, holding a
he's just standing there menacingly.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I like how that would like be edited at the time too, because it would show that before it would like commercial break. So you'd be like hyped. Usually when you catch like the more edited one that would like air like in the evening, right?
Right.
Did you ever find that? Like there'd be like the longer version that would like air at 6, and I'm not quite live, but it felt like it was more live.
Well, the one that would
And
air at 5 o'clock was
5, right?
live, and then there would be a repeat of it later on at night, and then
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
because the live one would always run over. Like it wouldn't
Oh,
end. It
always.
wouldn't end. It wouldn't end at 7. It would end at like
Whenever.
quarter after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Whenever,
was the
yeah.
hype thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, get fucked. Whatever's coming up next. I'm watching wrestling. But yeah, whenever, and then like my brother or like my sister or whatever would want to watch something, and I'm like, no, I'm not watching the edited, cut down version. Might get a glimpse of like boob, or like see, you know what I mean? Like see something that like you weren't supposed to see that they're going to quickly edit,
or
out.
someone will curse.
Or someone will curse, or you'll see like a camera, like cut away like later than they were like supposed to or whatever. Yeah.
Someone will be on the ramp and like just like walking
Slip.
toward the ring, holding the ring, and just be like, "You shut your fucking mouth!" And like they would try to bleep it, but like they like you'd still hear what they said.
Even though they don't have a microphone, the cameras, the microphones on the camera would pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive, folks.
Or like when wrestlers would swear when you could tell they clearly like screwed up a move.
When they, yeah.
What a time to be alive.
What a weird
Modern wrestling's good too.
Western society, man. You can show people like, like performing, getting hurt, sometimes fucking dying on screen. Heaven forbid somebody say shit on live
Yeah,
TV.
I know.
You can even show like blood, right? From like hardcore matches, chair attacks, like that kind of thing. But like, oh, those naughty words, like look out. Fucking buy a gun at Walmart, but you can't say fuck on live TV. Meanwhile, like European like orange juice commercials have like full frontal nudity.
AEW wrestlers do actually curse quite a bit, and they don't censor it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that the wrestlers on TME curse a lot too. Never censored. We don't get sponsors, but we're not censored, damn it.
Yeah, we're delivering unfiltered content for your listening pleasure, folks.
That's right.
So go to the Patreon, patreon.com/lasercomb.
Right.
Anyway, with all of that out of the way.
Well, that's been TME 133.
This is episode 133 of Too Much Energon, and this week we are talking about the 5th episode of Beast Wars 2nd, Galvatron Revived. It originally aired on April 29th of 1998. What a year.
What a year, man.
That's the year funny enough, that's the year I started watching wrestling. Started watching WCW Thunder. Because I got curious, because I kept seeing commercials for it on TBS all the time. And I'm like, oh man, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage?
Right? Yeah, I think mine journey was like 97 through like 2001 or 2 or something. I betrayed it. I only have like a 5-year run.
I went all the way, as I
wrestling.
mentioned, up to 2006. And yeah, as I said, I only really stopped watching just because I didn't have cable anymore and just kind of fell off of it. But I started watching it again in 2016
That's right.
because I found out AJ Styles, who was one of my favorite wrestlers in NWA TNA in the early 2000s, was in
Right.
WWE, and he was going to be wrestling John Cena at SummerSlam. And I'm like, you know what? I have the week off. I haven't watched wrestling in a few years now. I'm gonna go get like an 8-pack of like kokanee. I'm gonna order a pizza and I'm just gonna sit down and watch motherfucking SummerSlam.
That's right.
And I kept
And
watching.
you never looked back.
Yeah.
Never
I don't
looked
really
back.
watch WWE anymore, but I do watch AEW. Hell, I have cable strictly so I can watch Dynamite.
Yeah.
Just so I
You
can
heard it
DV
here, folks. He has cable.
I do have cable. And I have it mostly just to watch AEW and the news sometimes.
News that's not gotten from unbiased media sources like X and Facebook, which you're not allowed to share news on in Canada.
Which is weird because I share news stories still periodically, and they post just fine.
Yeah.
So
Same.
I don't know what all that hubbub was all about.
But also, like, if you're getting your news from Facebook, like, fucking don't. Like,
I
follow
know,
your sources. Like,
I know
look
quite a
up-
few people who are mad about that. 'Cause
So,
like,
so do I. Isn't
that's
that
where
fucking weird?
that's where I got my news, and it's like,
Notice it's
really?
mostly conservative people
Yeah,
that
it
are
is.
angry about. That's where I got most of my news, and I'm like, remember how like Russia and China have been manipulating like Facebook algorithms to give you fake news? You're their target
Yeah.
person listening that like gets their news from Facebook.
You know where I will stand by this news outlet till the day I die.
Polygon.
Folks, me and Cal like to bag on Polygon.
That's like the
to
only
each other.
thing that like we don't share like with other people like readily is like our like 2 year. I feel like at least a year long like just rag on
Hatred
like
of
Polygon's
Polygon.com.
quality.
And how much
it wouldn't be there if it wasn't reputable at one time, or not reputable, entertaining, but it's something now.
Yeah, I remember when I started really first taking notice of Polygon cringe was when Resident Evil Village was first unveiled, and there was an article with a headline something akin to Lady D in the Resident Evil Village trailer really makes me and my kinks feel seen by Capcom.
I remember that. You must have shared that with me or something.
I'm sure I did, because I'm like, what the fuck? And it's only gotten cringier since then.
It's only gotten cringier.
But no, the news outlet I will stand by is the Associated Press.
Mm.
AP News. It's
Yep.
very neutral, unbiased news reporting. It's OG. The Associated Press has been around for like 100 and something years. A thing that is known as the Newswire, which is where if you're reading a local newspaper and it'll have like world news and it'll be articles written, clearly not written by that paper, they're getting it from the Newswire. Most of the Newswire draws from the Associated Press or the Washington Post or the New York
Washington
Times.
Post. Yeah.
New York Times. But yes, I will forever stand by the Associated Press. If you want fair, unbiased, traditional journalism, that is the place to get it.
But I want journalism that tells me what I already believe is true. Where can I
Right.
go for that?
I just want my my own opinions and biases reinforced.
I would like echochamber.ca. echochamber.cons.ca.
Echo Chamber.
.ab. .ca.
Echo Chamber. What? Okay, so People's Echo Chamber today. .ab. .biz. ge.ca/truth.
/truth. There you go. Rolls off the tongue.
Anyway, so what happens in this episode is Megastorm G2 Megatron has hatched this new plan, which is basically to send out thousands upon thousands of mini flying saucers to tap into the planet's angle slam energy, because an attack like something of that scale is just too much for the Maximals to contend with on their own.
And indeed, despite the fact that they have missiles, lasers, the Maximals cannot fight these thousands of UFOs that like put down like tendrils because they just stay in beast mode to fight them.
Well, let me tell you why they can't. They don't stand a chance against these things. They had all of those kind of weapons that you just mentioned, but you know what they didn't have? Eye lasers.
Right. Because you can fire eye lasers in beast mode. Canonically, you can, right?
Right.
Well,
Well, Dinobot never did, but
who did? Did
uh,
Waspinator? We saw that like once, didn't we? And we were like, hey. Or am I like making that up? Is that like
it
Mandela
sounds
effect?
familiar, but I'm not entirely sure.
Who knows, man? We've watched like hundreds of these things.
Well,
Approximately 133.
technically, yeah.
But yeah, they didn't have eye lasers. And so they yell banana slamma and try to fight them. They're like, it's too many, Bighorn. You can't fight him. And he goes, he and tries, and wouldn't you know it, he fails.
Yeah.
Like immediately. The UFOs with the tendrils, what are they doing? They're like, the tendrils come out of the UFOs and dig into the planet.
They're tapping into they're trying to extract the angle slam.
And the Maximals are like, hell no. Eventually they give up because they're like, holy moly. I forgot that Lio Convoy, in his beast mode, he can make Wolverine claws come out of his normal claws. And I'm
Right.
like, why? So anybody like listening that hasn't seen the show, when he's in beast mode, yes, he has lion claws. It'd be really cool to see him slash stuff. And he does. But sometimes out of the palms come two longer, like Wolverine claws that he like slashes things with.
The toy has them too. I have the I
Oh
well,
shit.
I have the I have an original. It's missing pieces and in not very good condition. I have an original Lio Convoy figure, but I also have the Transformers Legacy Evolution Lio Convoy figure that came out earlier this year. And yeah, so the toy has those claws too.
So that way when the enemy is getting used to your reach and they get comfortable and they close distance with you, bada boom, you got like another 1.5 feet of reach, boom, slash their head off. They'll never see it coming.
Bada bing, bada boom, his head's chopped off. Big fucking deal.
I wish. No, that doesn't happen in this. Who's his little brother? Megastorm?
Yeah, G2 Megatron is Galvatron's little brother. So, what is it? One of I think it's Thrust, is like, haha, what a great plan, or something. And
Megastorm's like, my genius scares even me sometimes. I'm like, cool story, bro. You guys have like the infrastructure to make like 10 million little UFOs, but you can't beat like, what are there, 7 Cybertronians? Maximals?
If that, there's like what, like
6?
5 or 6? Something like that? Yeah.
I think there's like 6. It's like, guys, what are you doing?
So, yeah, so Thrust mentions that, the Emperor of Darkness himself, Galvatron, is going to be really impressed when he wakes up and sees this. And G2 Megatron is like, what did I tell you about saying that name? And storms away.
And he like angry storms away, yeah.
And Thrust is like, the fuck is his problem? And Starscream is like, okay, so listen up. When Galvatron awakens, he's gonna be really pissed at G2 Megatron. So maybe let's not bring up the Emperor of Darkness thing.
I completely forgot that like an ancient vampire.
Ixnay on the Ark's day.
Galvatron gay. Ixnay on the Alvatron gay. I forgot that like Galvatron was like an ancient vampire, like sleeping, and like he will awaken like one day.
Well, no, G2 Megatron knocked him out in the first or second episode. He like drugged him or something. So that's why he's been sleeping.
Right. That's why?
Yeah.
I've watched all of these episodes. This is only 5. This is episode 5, people. And I can like barely a lot happens that doesn't matter.
He was awake in the first episode when they landed on Gaia.
I swear he was.
No, he was, yeah. And G2
okay.
Megatron did something to like knock him out, and then he's like, haha, sleep. Oh yes,
Right.
sleep, big brother. For now is my time to shine. breaks out into song and dance. It's my time to shine. Now that you are asleep, I will rule the planet beneath
Ah,
my
yes,
mighty
rule the
feet.
planet. Sleep, so I may rule beneath my feet. Rule all of what? Like the 6 Maximals you're trying to destroy?
I know, right?
You're already in charge of the they're not really Predacons.
The
Decepticons.
Destrons. I just keep calling them.
Destrons.
I keep calling them Decepticons because they turn into vehicles. I'm like, those aren't Predacons.
Traitors.
What kind of bullshit is this?
But yeah, what ends up happening is after storming off, Maximals have their hands full. G2 Megatron decides to go dig a hole by himself. This
As one does.
fucking bottomless pit in secret. A secret bottomless pit.
What was his goal here exactly? Like, I have no. Okay,
At least this episode breaks the humdrum of the usual formula of
Yes.
Beast Wars Second.
Yes.
I will say that much.
So, folks, I had a difficult time paying attention to this while I was watching this because something is on the fritz with like the alarm system in my place or something, and it was beeping constantly.
So,
Fortunately-
he's digging this giant hole.
Fortunately, I was able to silence the beeping, but it took a while before I was informed on how to do that. So I was having a hard time paying attention to this episode.
He just decides to dig a hole so he can throw Galvatron into it. Like, there's nothing. That's it. And he'll bury him, and that way, even if when he wakes up, he'll never be able to rise and rule again. And I'm like, oh shit. Good for you, Megastorm. That's ambitious. Cowardly, but ambitious.
Yes, the key to ruling the Decepticons is to build a giant fucking hole.
Yeah. And it goes straight down into like a core of angle moist energy.
You remember that episode of Breaking Bad where they're trying to get into this like guy's house for whatever reason, and they're like, oh, like it's like Jesse and Walt, and Jesse, there's like a guy out in the front yard, and Jesse is like, oh, I'll distract him, and he's like, oh, well, you know, Walter's like, you know, blah blah, and he's like, no, but I know meth heads. So he goes and grabs like a shovel and just starts digging a hole in this guy's front yard, and the guy looks at him, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm digging a hole. And he's like, well, why? And he's like, hole needs to be dug. And the guy's like, all right, and starts helping him dig this hole.
Hole needs to be dug. Yeah. Somebody's spying on Megastorm digging this hole by himself. I don't know. Don't care. But what ends up happening is when he tosses the coffin into the hole with his big brother.
Yeah. The Emperor of Destruction or Darkness, I can't remember. The Ministry of Darkness.
The Ministry of Darkness.
The Jericho Appreciation Society.
The
Acolyte Protection Agency.
The Angle Moist Protection Agency.
Okay.
The APA. Yeah, there we go.
The unholy trinity of Chocolat,
yeah,
the Angle Slam, and Unicorn Panda Puffs.
That's the unholy trinity.
That's the unholy trinity.
There we go.
That's how you know the world is coming to an end.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Been saying that
so
a
if you want to bring about the end times, what you need to do is you need to take a VHS copy of the movie Chocolat starring Johnny Depp, put it on. You need to
mute it.
You simultaneously need to grab the person beside you, whoever they are, doesn't matter, and deliver Kurt Angle's signature move, the Angle Slam, onto them.
And like the closest. So if there's no one in your home, you do have to break into your neighbor's house.
Yeah. And
it can be an animal as well.
And immediately after doing that, you need to eat yourself a nice tasty bowl of Unicorn Panda Puffs.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, fucking
You've got the touch.
you've got the touch, you've got the power, fire and brimstone is raining down from the sky, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. That's how it goes.
Yeah. And then you'll be able to walk in the daylight.
That
Like
is
Blade.
that is the too much energon doomsday prophecy right there.
Which is really hard because the unicorn panda puffs were discontinued in 1978.
Well, you see, that's why it's the most like critical, like final component of
Yeah.
bringing about the end times.
You can find them on eBay. I mean, they're all stale and everything. It's not a collector's item. But
because if you eat these like 40-year-old bowl of cereal, like let me tell you, you're gonna be feeling an apocalypse.
oh yeah, especially without doing the first two. Yeah, you have to watch.
Well, that's why
you have to watch Chocolat on mute with the 1985 Transformers the movie audio playing over top of it.
see
And
that's
it
why
syncs up perfectly, by the way.
that's why you have to do all of these things first, is because things become truly apocalyptic after you eat 40-year-old cereal.
Yeah. But you'll have the touch.
What the hell?
What were we
even
talking
happened?
about? Oh, so right, Megastorm is eating cereal. He's like, "Get the fuck in here!" And he kicks Galvatron Gay into the bottomless pit. And he's like, "Well, that's that. Now I just need to fill it in." And he hears, "Oh, seriously, who kicked me in here?" And he turns, and I'm not even making this up. He's like, "Who said that? Who is it?" I'm like, "Who the?" And I half expected like somebody, like BB or like somebody to come like around the corner, like being ghostly. But well, wouldn't you know it, kicking somebody into a giant lava pit, really wakes them up. Really, like
like a phoenix from the ashes. Up comes Galvatron Gay,
yeah.
and he's all like, "G2 Megatron, my dear brother,
Haha,
brother."
And he's shirtless and blonde.
Yeah. Brother, did you like my sunglasses?
I'll be taking those back. Weird. How did I end up in this pit? There's no one else around. Did you kick me down there?
Have you betrayed me, dear brother? Okay,
And
so from
Megatron
now,
2.
From now on, Galvatron, like my voice for Galvatron is just going to be
Is
Liquid
Liquid.
Snake.
Is yeah, Megastorm's like, "Oh, yes, I could see how it would look, but no, it was and his eyes go into like binoculars, and he sees all the Maximals storming the base, because the Maximals had been like, the only way we can stop the 10,000 UFOs is by stopping the remote source of where it's coming from. So we have to go stop the Decepticons.
I mean,
And he's
the logic is sound.
yeah, no, it is. And again, this breaks away from the formula that all the past episodes have been, right?
Right.
Like they're storming the base, they're coming to stop them. And he's like, no, it wasn't me. It was them. Them, Lord Megatron. I assume this Megatron is like the War for Cybertron Kingdoms,
Totally, yeah.
right? Like your whiny, like sniveling, like cowardly version of G2 Megatron. Look,
Yes, Lord Megatron! Yes, what can I do for you, my lord and savior? Do you need a foot massage? Please, let me.
please. Oh, look at your disgusting feet. Well, I don't mind touching them. Yes.
For you, anything for you, my lord Megatron.
And so he's like, look, it was them. There's the bad guys there. And by the way, Convoy's a lion. This is actually the conversation, by the
Pretty
way.
much, yeah.
And he's like, huh, I shouldn't have doubted you, brother. Silly me for thinking that you could possibly betray me. Let me see. So
we all
Convoy is a lion.
we all know, dear brother, that you could never overthrow me. It was
Isn't
foolish.
that right?
It was foolish for me to think that you could have even done such a thing.
Foolish for me to think that someone as cowardly and pathetic as you would ever try to do something like this, brother. And G2 Megatron's like, yeah. So, like, there they are. Like, oh, he's a white lion. And then the rest of the episode kind of actually hype as we find out Galvatron is, like, indestructible and has, like, 3 different modes. One of them's a giant drill.
Yeah, it's a giant drill.
It's a drill tank.
And the design is actually kind of reminiscent of, like, the space howitzer that the OG Galvatron turned into, the design of it.
Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
instead of this giant, like, kind of, like, future tech space howitzer, it's like a giant drill.
Yeah.
And, well, wouldn't you know, the weapons that the Maximals try to use, kind of useless against it. No one else is here, by the way. It's just like Megastorm, like, watching, eating popcorn, hoping that the Maximals win. And because what is it? I can't remember who talks to him. It might be like Starscream or something. But somebody's like, hey, you know he's gonna figure out, like, you did this, or this, and that you've been lying to him. And G2 Megatron's like, fuck.
Oh,
yes.
He is so cunning. He's going to figure out my dastardly deed in no time flat. I need to do something.
Perhaps I should, but I can't. No, I mustn't. I couldn't help the Maximals. So Galvatron's like,
And he's like, yes, I will, and puts on, like, a Phantom of the Opera mask and, like, slides out of frame.
and with a flourish of his cape, slides off of stage left. More like Count Chocula.
We're doing that. We're doing that thing that we always do, where we make something, like, infinitely way better.
It's
than
not
it
funny.
is.
There's nothing funny that happens in the episode.
Oh God,
people.
no.
We didn't want to spend 45 minutes talking about wrestling and then 10 minutes talking about the episode. Can you?
Yeah.
But it is canon in the laser cone, in the Too Much Energon, like Planet Energon.
Yeah.
Like, there's Polar Claw is canon, and he's hanging out with what was Dinobot's new name in the Too Much Energon canon? Raptor Man, Velosa Captor.
I can't remember.
Holy shit! Now I feel like bad.
I know we
been
talked
a while
about
since
the Raptorbot Chronicles.
Raptorbot. There we go. All of that's canon. The Raptorbot, yeah. G2 Megatron, now being Phantom of the Opera.
See, if you,
time to don my disguise.
see, and this
Just
is
a
going,
single half mask.
this is going back to, like, OG, like, laser comb canon. But if a certain person on Facebook who has a mistransformed combiner named Jeremy,
That's right,
is to be believed, anything you can come up with is canon to the source material.
That's right. Anything
Yep.
canon
So-
to you personally, which that becomes fandom, not canon, but
that's fanfic.
whatever you say, Jeremy. What I think it was funny too is, like, didn't that guy have, like, a very like Chinese name? Like, he was like Chinese Canadian or something like that, and he named his, like, Transformer his OC Jeremy.
Yeah,
I thought that
he
was the
is, like,
funniest shit ever.
horribly, like, mistransformed, like, combiner that's from, like, various different combiners that aren't, like, that don't fit together well
And
at
doesn't
all.
look good.
It doesn't look good. It looks like some like bizarre like Transformers version of like the Elephant Man monstrosity, and it's named Jeremy.
Yeah, not like try Sarah Cop, or actually, I think that's an ex-cop thing. Try
No,
not like
that's from
try
Kung Fury.
That's what it is. Yeah, not like try Dino Blaster or
That movie is a
something
treasure, by the
stupid
way.
up.
Kung Fury.
Released for free because of its backed Kickstarter for free on YouTube.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I backed it on Kickstarter back in the day.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks to Christopher, you can watch Kung Fury for free.
But
what happens? Oh, Final Form and Galvatron gay.
I was gonna just follow that up with like very combiner like Transformer names, like we got Devastator, we've got Superion,
Yeah.
Jeremy,
yeah. And then Jeremy, only slightly less popular than the one that Lyle Convoy Jr., Big Convoy, and what do those three become?
No, it's Lio Jr.
The Mammoth.
Silverbolt, not the Silverbolt we know and love, but the Japanese Silverbolt,
Beast Wars second beast.
which is the eagle, I think. And the elephant's name is Snarl?
Anyways, yeah, what do you remember what they turn into?
Magnaboss, which is actually a pretty dope
Magnaboss.
name, I gotta say.
So it's like, this is the tiers, right? We've got Magnaboss, Jeremy, everything else.
Yeah. Folks, if you want to know what we're talking about, those outtakes collections that that are available on the Patreon that I mentioned?
The whole story is there.
It's in there.
Back when we thought that the fandom for Transformers was reasonable and used to engage with them more, we have the Jeremy story.
Yeah, it's in there, and it's
canon.
I've gone back and listened to it a couple of times, like within the past year, and it's one of the good ones. Also, the legendary one involving when we had my I guess former friend now Tim on the show, and he was convinced that me doing a Price is Right fail horn wasn't a Price is Right fail horn, and it was music from the SNES version of Sim City. And we're both like, dude, what are you talking about?
That part got recorded.
That part got recorded, and one of the only times I actually did a fair amount of editing on the outtake was I added Price is Right fail horns, pretty much after every time Tim said something.
It was pretty. It lends something to it.
Yeah.
You mean that soundbite from SimCity?
Yeah.
Clearly. Yeah. I don't even remember what we were talking about. Galvatron gay.
And his defense was like, well, I guess you just weren't doing it well enough then.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
We're known for many things here. It's really bad sound effects, and not being as good at impressions of the characters as I don't know, some other fucking assholes from some podcast. I don't know, some asshole.
Some assholes on Twitter.
Yeah. Who we need to invite onto the show.
Who we should invite onto the show.
We should,
according to them.
Yeah, that's right. The way we get invited to other people's shows is to we find them on Twitter, we insult their something that they weren't trying very hard to do, and then invite ourselves onto the show.
Yeah,
that's how we always get guest spots. Yeah, works like a charm. I just do my Scorponok impression and boom, I'm in.
I don't get a ton of invites to be on other people's podcasts, but I'm fine with that because I have guest hosted on my two all-time favorite podcasts. that I've
there
been
you
listening
go.
to for years and years. So I'm like, well,
A little bit higher popularity ones
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm like, well, I got to do that. So I'm
I got to
Cool.
be on like 2 gaming, which is like the big drink energy podcast. I think you were on that too.
I wasn't on it.
Oh.
He had like a year and a half ago had like asked me to be on the show,
Right.
and then
It
I
just
just
kept
didn't have.
getting
It just kept getting pushed back and pushed back, and then he was like, "Hey, well, I've decided I just don't have the energy to do podcasting anymore, so I'm walking away from it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And then a few months ago, he reached out to me again and was like, "Hey, I'm back podcasting, so if you want to be on the show," I'm like, "Yeah, okay, like, sure, like let's set something up. I'm free on these days." And he's like, "Cool, let's set something up." And
well, here we are.
here we are. I'm not trying to throw shade at the guy or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Like he seems like a decent enough dude. It's just one of those things that's like,
If it happens.
if it happens, yeah, I would do it, but it doesn't seem to be like a big priority for any party involved, if I'm being honest.
Not only did I download the game I ended up playing on that guy's show, but I played it a fair amount, tried to get like unlock all the characters naturally and stuff. And well, I may or may not have beat his ass to the ground playing
Nice.
What was it? It was Bushido Blade 2.
Right.
Yeah.
The game that I wanted to do was Heavy Metal Geomatrix on the Dreamcast, which isn't exactly a fighting game per se. It's more of an arena shooter, like a I don't know. They don't really make them like that anymore, but it was like an arena fighter slash shooter.
What the fuck was this thing called?
Heavy Metal Geomatrix. I don't know. This was a type of game that was being made in the late
Right.
90s to early 2000s, like in arcades and whatnot. There was
Oh,
even there was
yeah,
a Final Fantasy one called Airgeist.
He plays that in episode 1, I think.
Yeah.
He plays Air Guys in episode 1, and then, or maybe I'm getting confused.
Yeah, I think
And
they
I
were
do
called
episode
Arena
2.
Fighters.
Okay.
And so they
okay.
were they were 3D. It had an isometric camera angle, and you could run around freely around the this like one map.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a
Oh,
style
damn.
of game that was a thing.
There's some sleuts going on in this game.
It was a type of game that was a thing at like that exact moment in time. From like, I don't know, like 1997 to like 2001. There
Did
were
you
a
ever
bunch
play
of
a
these.
game called Biofreaks on the Nintendo 64?
I did not. The
That was my next recommendation.
the same people who made Heavy Metal Geomatrix also made a Spawn arena fighter, which
Oh,
I
shit.
think was called Spawn: The Demon's Hand,
Oh,
which I've actually played. It's not very good, but I don't think there's
They
ever been a
never
good
are.
Spawn game.
I'm surprised that those games were even made.
There should be a new Spawn game.
There should. And you know what? The guys that do like the Batman games, like
Yeah, get them to do
Arkham-
a Spawn game.
right? Because like it captures the feel of like what a Spawn game should be. Right? Just change the mechanics around. Instead of him using gadgets, he just like turns into darkness or like whatever. Like, yeah, get those guys to do a Spawn game
Yeah,
and make it like a rated AO. Like fucking like get him like cutting heads off and like riding his fucking hell cycle and
well, that's Ghost Rider.
oh right. What did Spawn do? Did he even have a vehicle?
Now, sometimes you'll
need it.
see him like riding like motorcycles and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you see him riding a motorcycle. But he didn't have an iconic
No,
hell cycle. That was
no, and he can not really fly per se, but he
Like
can like
glide?
jump off of buildings and kind of like glide for a while.
exactly why you get the Arkham Batman guys on it, right?
Right.
That's our Spawn podcast. The Spawncast.
You know, a podcast that I do want to do, which is something that I really hope I can get you on board with eventually, is a Highlander podcast. Because I can't seem to find any.
Really?
Yeah,
We could get guest hosts for that too.
totally. And we could probably like get people who are involved in the show on for interviews. No,
That'd be something.
for Highlander, I want to do like a podcast where it's like we review like every movie and every show like one by one in order of release.
Oh, there you go. An order of release.
So we start with the movie, and then we start with the first episode of the show, and then we move on to, I guess it would be the second movie, which is oof. And then like the first episode of the show, and then like through the show's run, we do like the movie Highlander 3, according to when it came out, and then we do like Highlander Endgame and the Highlander cartoon and like the Highlander the Raven. It would be a very long podcast, but it would be.
I didn't even realize there was that much Highlander stuff.
There is, yeah. And with how much we reference Highlander, I think we should do it.
I'll contemplate it. We got stuff to wrap up.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Including this episode.
That's true, including this episode. So, bada bing, bada boom, final form, Galvatron Gay comes out, and he's a fucking dragon.
He is a fucking dragon.
He's an immortal dragon. They can't hurt him. He's spooky, but apparently he's not too nimble in this form. He's like
Right.
a giant, like...
Right, and I think at the end, Artemis and Moon, those two like anime bullshit characters.
Well, halfway through, we meet Artemis and Moon, and it's like, hey, we have a postcard from viewers. Blah, 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 from like whatever, like Tokyo like asks, like, what exactly are Artemis and Moon? Oh, well, we'll tell you. And well, wait a second, what's going on? Moon, why didn't you tell me that there's like a fight going on Gaia right now? Anyways, we're out of time. Moon. And I guess that's a joke. And they don't actually answer anything, and they cut back to the episode. But yeah, at the very end. So sorry. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Giant Galvatron Gay boss is indestructible, and you know what? The Maximals are like, we don't know what to do. We're gonna die.
And he enters the dragon.
And he dragon. He enters the dragon, and well, wouldn't you know it? G2
Convoy!
Megatron is like,
Do you like my form?
do you like my form? I'll see that it's superior to yours. It looks like I got the good genes, brother. And when you know it, Megastorm is like, now's my chance. Ha! And for whatever reason, because he's very smart, I guess, Galvatron is on a cliff overlooking a giant volcano,
Yep.
attacking the Maximals who are on the other side of the volcano. Seems kind of a bad thing to go near, especially since you can't fly, what are the wings for then, Mr. Dragon? But anyways, G2 Megatron's like, well, fuck you, and he
Wings.
snipes.
Wings are so I'm told are so in the spring and summer collection.
Right. So they're aesthetic.
Yes.
Silly me. Yeah. And when you know it, well, here's the thing. First, the Maximals do defeat. I actually liked this part. That's why I'm referencing it. Before all of this, the Maximals defeat the drill version of Galvatron Gay by doing, that's right, the Maximal maneuver. They hide behind rocks and they shoot a bunch of rocks, and it creates a rock slide and it buries Galvatron forever. Except that he becomes black smoke and reassembles himself in dragon form.
And he's like, "Ha ha, Snake! I have scanned the most powerful creature on all of this planet." And
He's like the
just
powerful
smoke.
creature of myth in all of the planet.
And he's just smoke
smoke
at this point. So I'm like, so you DNA sequenced a fucking cloud? Like what?
A volcano. And then it's revealed that he's talking about a dragon. And I'm like, wait. Humans aren't alive on the planet yet. Humans weren't alive to make up the mythical creatures that are dragons.
This is in the distant future, remember? Because
Fuck me, right.
I had forgotten
Oh,
about
okay.
this too.
No,
and
no, you're right
you had
because of all
reminded
the
me.
we both reminded each other at least once at this part, right? Because they find all the infrastructure. The Decepticons find all the factories and the infrastructure left behind by humans.
And they
Right.
scanned their forms by the mightiest machines of Gaia's past.
Which apparently are just like construction equipment.
Pretty much.
Oh, and some jets.
Some jets. Yeah.
Yeah.
An unusual amount of jets. There's a very high jet to everything else ratio amongst the Decepticons
There
on the
is.
show.
They're fun. Yeah. So, well, when you know it, he became smoke. Then he became a dragon. And the Maximals are like, shit, we can't beat it. Yada, yada, yada. Megastorm's like, holy shit, now's my chance to do a maximal maneuver of my own.
The smoke just starts clearing, and you see like Galvatron in his dragon form, and like Cypress Hill is playing, and he's just got like a joint in his like little like dragon claw.
Kind of. And he's like, you thought I turned into smoke, but really, I was
Bring.
blazing up.
You thought I turned into smoke,
You thought I turned into smoke,
but I bring the motherfucking smoke, motherfuckers.
but then I got high. That fucking song.
I was gonna.
I was gonna jump into this volcano, and then I got high. But then my brother betrayed me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I got high. But anyways, he gets high, he climbs a mountain, he falls in a volcano because Megastorm, he has that sniper cannon, as we've seen.
I was gonna
He does a
rule,
maximal maneuver.
I was gonna rule the Gaia, but then I got high.
I was gonna rule Cybertron, but then I landed on Gaia. Do.
Now I'm falling in a volcano, and I know why.
Why, man?
Yeah, because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. La da 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 da.
And
I should
then
put
when
that
you know
song
it,
at
the
end of the
Maximals,
episode now.
better than anything else. The Maximals are like, oh, so I guess Galvatron isn't very nimble in that form, huh? Who helped us? I wonder who it was. And you hear a big organ music. And G2 Megatron is like in the shadows posing like this as he takes the mask off and turns to the camera. It was me!
It's me, Galvatron! It was me all along!
It's me, Galvatron. There we go. There's a
Another wrestling
fucking, what meme
reference.
is that? That's a
Vince McMahon.
fucking Vince McMahon, yeah.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along.
And he falls in lava and goes, no! As he's piloting the Metal Gear. And
And
it is kind of like Metal Gear Rex, actually. And, well, when you know it, this one doesn't fly. And
then Lio Convoy just like puts his arm to his head, and he's like, oh, and falls to the ground. And the other Maximals are like, what's he doing? And Bighorn is just like, let the man work. He's
let the
method.
man work. Let him cook. Let him cook, Scuba. Oh, Scuba saves the day at one point
Oh,
by making a geyser underneath Galvatron when nothing else worked.
oh.
Because he was charging up his Galvatron laser. And he was going to one-shot Lio Convoy.
His
And he's like,
Galazer.
time. His Galazer. His Azer lay. Alvatron gaze, Azer lay. And,
Saves
well,
the day.
They saved the day, and they're like, who is the mystery hero? We may never know. And well, that's the episode, and we end with a new segment, which is Artemis and Moon teaching us some things about the brain or something.
They explain that. Well, they do explain that apparently Galvatron can only turn into his dragon form under certain circumstances.
Right. And what else? They
He's
they
got
do
he's
something
got to
about
get
biology.
a raging fucking hard on before he can actually like shift into dragon mode.
Dragon mode, right. What is it? She says something else that I was like, wait, they're affected by that?
Uh,
Jumping
I
back
don't
into
know.
the episode, folks. Hold my beer.
I don't know. I also don't really care either.
Don't really care. Moon. Yeah, it's really annoying. She says moon a lot.
We're gonna be known as like the Beast Wars podcast who hates everything Beast Wars except for the
Basically.
original show and War for
Kinda.
Cybertron.
Oh, it's called the second transmission.
Din,
Yeah.
din, 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 din.
Yeah, when he's the drill destroyer, it's a lethal technique.
Oh.
So even Lio Convoy would be turned into a donut.
Oh, brother, are you ready for my lethal technique?
Yeah. Damn, eh? Thankfully, he can't properly transform at his own will into
Galvatron,
dragon form.
how did you learn that technique? I thought only the boss.
Agamotokyo.
I thought only the boss taught me CQC.
You weren't the only one who learned CQC, brother.
Ha
Galvatron's pink, by the
And
way.
then all of a sudden, like Solidus, like slides in and is like, "The world needs only one big boss, Snake."
Yeah, you can't forget Solidus. The
Everyone-
thickest.
Everyone does, but like, fuck, he's my favorite villain in the entire series. Because
Really?
he's the only villain in that entire series where I understood why he was doing what he was doing, and what he was doing actually had nuance to it.
That's fair. Unlike the young version of Revolver Ocelot, who just used revolvers because Naked Snake told him it was cool, and he should and he should use revolvers instead. Because his like technique, you're pretty good,
You're pretty good, kid.
but you could be better.
But your technique is all wrong. The way you blah 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 blah. You should be using a revolver, not a semi-auto.
Yeah, because he tries to like fuck around and find out, and, like show off with like a 1911 or like some sort of handgun that uses a magazine, and it jams, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
The bullet gets jammed in the chamber.
When you do your fancy tricks.
Here, Smith and Wesson, Colt 45. Seems
And
more
then
up your style.
you kick the shit out of him, and then you wake up, and for the next 6 months you're like, man, that shirtless like American in the woods was really cool. And you just spend 6 months practicing how to like fucking cowboy.
And then you go, and then suddenly this
You
like,
make it your whole identity.
as then suddenly this like Russian like orphan becomes a as an old man just becomes a an American cowboy who's really into revolvers.
Because of that one dude who told him he should when he was like a teenager.
Metal Gear gets sillier the more you
We're
think
talking
about
about the same game series. People,
Oh, and then
Metal
this,
Gear, silly?
Oh, and then this Russian soldier who then becomes a old man American cowboy gets his arm chopped off and gets the arm
Of your favorite.
of the brother, the clone twin brother of the hero of the series, grafted onto his body, and somehow his
Is
ghost.
this salt? Is this liquid?
Yes, Liquid, and then
Sorry,
somehow
yeah.
the ghost of Liquid uses his arm that is now on
Possess him.
to,
It is
to
on the
possess him.
Russian Revolver Ocelot.
the
cowboy.
Russian American cowboy.
Yeah.
And then he eventually like just becomes that Liquid personality through
Because it eventually, it's kind of like they're fighting for possession of the body.
they're fighting for possession, but eventually he takes over. And then you find out it's not actually a ghost, it was nanomachines. But then you
What?
find out it wasn't actually nanomachines. He was just
He was pretending,
the entire time.
which I think is actually the most insane.
And he was pretending the entire time because he needed
Somebody to believe that he was liquid.
Solid Snake to believe that he was liquid, so he would try and stop him, and in the process end up taking down the Lolly Lule Lo, aka the Patriots, who have all been dead for over a century. And but then you find out they are actually a series of like highly advanced AI systems that are controlling society through media manipulation. The storyline for MGS2 like really hits hard playing it now.
Now, holy shit, man!
But then you find out that that's all a ruse, and it's actually just a like secret cache of money that's like hidden away somewhere.
And then I got high. Then I got high.
I've played all of these games multiple times over.
Wait, it's not a secret AI cabal that runs the country through media manipulation?
No.
I thought it was.
That's what MGS2 has you believe, and then they kind of retcon it in MGS4.
So there isn't...
That it's actually, instead of like being the Patriots or being the... being this like network of AIs...
The Lolly Lule Lo.
It's actually like a group of nations working together to like create essentially like a one government state to like rule the world.
Oh, well, that's much more believable.
It is, yeah, but I don't know. I liked the AI thing more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or do those people want to cover up the AI actually ruling?
All right.
Who even knows what we're talking about, folks? Okay. We need to review this.
That was episode 133 of Too Much Energon. Here on the show, we review episodes of anything, including
Metal Gear Solid,
WCW Monday Nitro, apparently, and Metal Gear Solid.
You just caught a random episode of Monday Night Raw.
On the Too Much Energon scale, which ranges from not enough Energon to a sufficient amount of Energon to too much Energon. It's basically bad, okay, good. Cal, what are you rating Galvatron Revived on the TME scale?
Things actually were different in this episode, but like...
They were different, but we both struggled. Now, granted, we both had like different external distractions going on while we were trying to watch the show, but they were different. But we had a hard time really retaining anything that happened in this episode beyond Galvatron back, he dragon.
Galvatron, that's right. So like UFO conspiracy.
Yeah.
Maximals can't fight him. Megatron G2 Megatron dug a hole. Dragon awakens. Enter the dragon. They bury the dragon.
Yeah.
Which is wildly different, but I wouldn't say it was good. It just felt like a lot of parts moving, which is kind of a theme I'm seeing with Beast Wars 2nd. So I'm gonna say it gets a sufficient amount of Energon. A sufficient amount of Angle Moist.
For me, it gets a very low sufficient amount of Energon. I applaud it for like breaking the formula of the past 4 episodes. And I mean, Galvatron's back.
That was
he's
cool.
A dragon.
Yeah. Now he's in a volcano.
He's seemingly dead, but we know he's not. He'll be back, but the episode makes you think he's dead at the end. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of felt nothing about this episode, really. It was fine.
It was adequate. Sufficient.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. That was Episode 133 of Too Much Energon. Best way to support the show is go to patreon.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. I talked about it at length at the top of the podcast, so you don't need to hear the spiel again. If you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lasercomb. You can follow me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at Lasercomb, spelled the same way. You can follow the show at Too Much Energon. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Lasercomb. You can follow me on Instagram at Christopher Siege, or you can add me as a friend on Xbox Live, gamertags Lasercomb. No one has done that yet, so you, Dave, you have
That's
the
right.
opportunity.
We're talking to you, Dave.
You have the opportunity to be the first, so go do that. Cal, where can people find you?
Ooh. Oh God, what have I done? People can find me and Cheetor at
Cheetor,
Blue
what have you
Sky.
done?
Cheetor almost knocked my monitor over. You go in timeout. Timeout, Mr. Cheetor. Go right.
You go to beast mode and think about what you've done.
I should change him back into beast mode and like put him in a corner.
Face facing the corner.
Yeah, face with head down. But like sitting on his back, like haunches, like a cat.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, Blue Sky, NeoCal. I mean, I haven't deleted my account on X, which is probably good because apparently it's going to be $1 to make a new account.
That's right.
Yeah, it's going to be $1 to make a new account to stop the bots once and for all. Well, the bots that are currently there can stay, but the no new bots.
Yes, because people,
bot accounts definitely won't spend $1.
Yeah, because charging $1 a year to weed out the bots is totally going to weed out the bots, since they, seem to have no problem paying $10 a month for a blue check mark. But hey,
whatever you got to do. He's scraping the bottom of the barrel. That guy.
I know.
You know the guy. You know the guy.
I know. I can't. Dude's gonna have to sell Twitter at some point.
At a major loss.
At a major loss, and you love to see it.
We'll take it. You for the low price of you paying us $10,000. We'll take X from you.
To buy Twitter, I think I could scrape together like a hundo or two.
A hundo and Christopher's extra Cheetor figurine.
Yeah.
The unopened one. No, the opened one.
Yeah, the open one.
$100 and the opened Cheetor.
Yeah. Not the original Cheetor either, the reissue.
Yeah, the reissue.
The one that's worthless. Because it only just came out a couple of years ago.
Where else? Do Dork Tales. I do like tabletop RPG. White Wolf stuff may be coming. Or
that could be a jingle right there. Dork Tales.
Dork Tales. $10, please.
That's right, Dork Tales.
That's right. Yeah, Wednesday nights. That Dragonlance campaign is coming to an end soon.
Uh-oh.
We're on the last. Can't wait to see if I die in a blaze of elven glory. Geez, what else? There's like the Blue Sky. There's the TikTok. TikTok, I'm NeoCal, but mostly the Discord. The Lasercomb Discord. You got TME. You got like all the general chat. You got memes. You got us. Probably the only way I'm going to reply to anything. Yeah, Discord people.
I do still want to get some like, I don't know, like Jackbox party pack.
Right. Fuck.
Going.
Yeah, that would be rad. Like talk to everybody and be like, hey, when can we do this?
I tried to get something like that going a few weeks ago, but like no one could agree on a time.
Right.
But
try again.
I'll try again.
And we can't get everybody, but maybe there's a time where we can get the most amount of people.
Yeah, I'll do the thing that everyone on Discord loves and hit at everyone.
That's right. Everybody loves that. And you know what? You should be doing it all the time.
For every post, yeah.
Yeah, for every post. I'm looking at you, channels that I've actually removed.
I've done the same thing. Because I've been part of Discord servers before where like some people would at everyone for like the most like mundane things, and I'm like, no, fuck,
Don't do that.
I don't care.
Yeah. I will come and look when I want to, but unless you're specifically talking to me, don't say everyone. Don't add everyone.
If I get a notification on my phone and I see that little Discord icon, I'm like, oh, someone's messaging, like Cal's messaging me, or like Krista is messaging me or something, and then I
open it up and it's like
it's
bullshit that you don't even like look at anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so don't do it. Don't do the ad.
We don't do that
unless it's important.
Unless I have a real funny meme, just like a meme that's off the chart. No, I don't think I do, unless it's like news. One of us has been shot.
Right. When
well, I don't want to hear this.
When I die eventually, you'll it'll be up to you to at everyone on the Discord and be
I'll
like,
at
hey.
everyone, and I'll be like, at Christopher's funeral, lol. A picture.
You
know that meme with like the guy over the grave, like the freshly like buried like gravestone.
There's like a very like tasteful like black and white photo of you, like of me in my coffin, and you like gently putting a like Optimus Primal action figure next to me.
Like gently. That would happen.
That probably would
black
happen.
and white.
That would actually.
I'd hire a photographer.
That would actually that would be a very sweet gesture and something the Ghost of Siege would appreciate.
I'd imagine the Ghost of Siege is a lot like when the Jedi ghosts at the end of episode 6, like kind of all like are there and they like nod approvingly at Luke.
It'll be like a Force ghost of me, but it'll be that gif of Robert Redford like side-eye, like looking to the camera and just like slowly like smiling and doing like a gentle nod.
Yeah, just like a.
That'll be the Ghost of Siege.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's about time to get out of here. So we'll be back next time with episode 134 of Too Much Energon, where we're going to be talking about the fuck's the name of the next episode? Mystery of the Ancient Ruins. An energy source in some ruins attracts the attention of the Maximals.
This actually sounds like it could be interesting.
The ruin, are probably the signal is probably like Dragon Man, would be my guess.
Dragon Man.
Anyway, we'll be back next time with that. And until then, I've been the Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm NeoCal.
And until next time, are you ready? Ding, ding, ding.
The lolly lully.
Ding, 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 ding. Bye-bye.